Guys are anxious to get back out on the field and play this week. You know, we all know what we left out there on Saturday, and you know, it's behind us. We have to move on, learn from it, and hopefully be a better football team this Saturday when we step out on the field.
What kind of response have you seen so far from the players?
It was good. We had a really good day yesterday. You know, it's been good in the meeting rooms. I mean, they were down on Friday. We talked about what they needed to do when they came back Sunday, and were ready to practice. And I think to a man, everyone accepted that, did it, and was ready to go.
How much did the fact that Virginia Tech lost in that carrot of the Coastal Championship is still out there, did that help their getting over Thursday night?
I have no idea, because all we've talked about is the Citadel. That's all we're going to be focused on. So we're going to, you know, that's all we control. That's all we're going to worry about, is just being 1-0 this week.
Larry, going back to the game Thursday night, the first 10, 15 minutes, you guys were up 14-0, had two good defensive stops. And it seemed to take kind of a dramatic shift. On film, did it look that way as well to you?
Oh yeah, I mean it was you know, and I'll be when I looked at those first couple series, we still made mistakes in those first couple series. We overcame them, but we made mistakes, and uncharacteristic mistakes. I mean, mistakes on just base things, and we did the same thing throughout the entire game, but we weren't able to overcome them after that. And so, and there may have been a sense of some of our guys, you know, that wow, we went down and scored twice real easy, and this is the way it's going to be all game, and didn't have the same intensity the rest of the way.
When you guys go over the film, do you ever kind of make a little bit of a list of the things maybe as a staff you could have done differently in the game? And if so, would something like maybe Elijah maybe getting more touches be something that you guys would have considered?
Yeah, I take a lot of notes from the games on things that happen in the games. I don't do a whole lot of second guessing on what plays are called, or you know, it's more about why didn't we execute what was called, and whether or not, I mean, we have capable people, whether Elijah's carrying it or TJ's carrying it. We didn't execute. I mean, there were too many very basic things that we didn't do throughout that game, which kept us from being efficient throughout the game. I mean, we ran the ball efficiently, you know. I mean, we really did, and but we just didn't make plays to put the ball in the end zone, and you have to do that. I mean, you got to do that.
Elijah's had some health problems this year. Was this maybe a kind of reverting back to some of that, like him struggling with various things and not being on the field?
No, I don't think so. I mean, Larry handles the substitutions with those guys as he sees fit. If he thinks something's happening and he needs to get him out, he gets him out. You know, he takes care of all that. So I don't think there's any issues that way.
What was the greatest lesson when you reviewed the film? Was it just a failure in execution?
Oh, it was, yeah. Well, it was just on both sides of the ball. Just little things, just basic fundamental mistakes on base things, base calls, base plays that we've run thousands of times since spring ball of last year or fall camp that should not happen. Should not happen.
How much defensively did a growing frustration play a part in that too, and making it more difficult for them to overcome the mistakes they were making at that time?
I think that happened on both sides of the ball, you know, and that can happen. You can't grow frustrated with the adversity that happens in a game. You got to welcome it. You got to, you know, you got to look it in the eye and be excited about it, and know that that's going to be the way that you're going to be successful, is because you're going to overcome it. You know, you don't keep getting frustrated. I mean, you're not going to accomplish anything through frustration.
Can you talk about the danger Citadel team could bring to you guys as far as?
Yeah, this is a undefeated football team, you know, and an undefeated football team that has a lot of things going for them. They run the ball very, very effectively. they're gonna, when they do throw it, they hurt you with it. They eat the clock. They limit the possessions that you get offensively. And so you better be very effective with your possessions. So, defensively, we've got to steal a couple possessions. Offensively, when we get it, we got to take care of the football, and we've got to be effective with it. They have done a really good job. If you watch them on defense, they're in the right place all the time, and they do a great job of making plays. So it will be, we will need to really play really well in all three phases of the game to be successful. I can assure you, the Citadel's not going to come in here and be, feel intimidated by any means. I mean, they have beat, an FBS team in the last couple of years. So they'll come in here expecting to win a football game in our home stadium.
How much does it help that you defended Georgia Tech and that you practiced and schemed for that just a couple of weeks ago?
Well, we hope that there's enough carryover with our guys that will help, because we only have a couple days to get ready. So, I'm hoping that that's going to help us defensively.
And the fact that last week maybe they kind of took some things for granted, does that help them, be a little bit more serious about taking these guys seriously?
I hope so. That's what I expect.
What advantages does your program get out of playing a non-conference game, an FCS opponent this late in the season?
Well, I mean, part of the, the scheduling and everything is, again, goes back to whether we were going to go to 8 games, conference games, 9 conference games. Notre Dame was coming in, and all of a sudden now you got some holes in there, and you got to fill them. I mean, that's all, you got to play games. And so it is what it is. I mean, we've known all season that this was going to happen. We're going to play them late in the year. So we're going to play them late in the year, and they're a really good football team.
A lot of teams in the SEC started doing this several years ago. The week before their rivalry game at the end of the year, they played one of these FCS games or a lower tier FBS, and some in the ACC do it now too. Do you prefer doing it this way, or would you rather get all these games out of the way early in the year?
I'm okay with doing it this way. I don't have a problem with it. I mean, I really don't. But again, I've done it the other way too, where we've had them all at the beginning of the year. So there's positives and negatives to both. So I mean, I don't know if I feel one way or the other, honestly. I just look at the schedule, and we get the schedule, and we put together a plan for whatever it is, whether you like it or not, you're going to play it. And that's kind of the attitude I've always taken with it.
Are teams more aware of swits and punt returns and just not kicking to them, or are you guys having some issues with your return?
I mean, if you just look at we haven't had many opportunities this year. I mean, we just, and I can tell you this team, I mean, they've punted 40 times. There's only been 7 returns on them. Whether it's I mean, there's situations on a punt return. You might have everything set up, everybody blocked, and the guy punts it 30 yards. And so you don't get a return, or the guy punts it to the other side, I mean, you don't get a return. I mean, it's or he punts the heck out of one, and somebody gets turned loose, so it's just, you have to take advantage of the opportunities when you get them, and know that they don't come very often.
Switz has made it pretty clear that he would really like that record. Do you sense that he's starting to get a little frustrated now that he's kind of running out of time?
Probably. Yeah, probably. Frustration's not going to help you, though. It won't help you.
How do you make sense of the interception-less streak?
I can't make sense of it. I'll let y'all make sense of it. I can't. And I, at this point, I don't even dwell on it anymore. I mean, it's either going to happen or it's not. That's all I can say about it. We've gotten our hands on balls, and we haven't brought them in, and I don't know. It's not like we don't practice it. I can tell you that.
Does that come up in conversation among the staff, like with Warren and other guys?
It used to. Now it's gotten so old and tiresome that we don't even bring it up.
This is your 9th team. Do you know what the fewest number of interceptions your previous teams had in the season?
I don't. I'll let y'all look that up.
Coach, if Dominique had come down with that interception and stopped that drive, where do you think that would have put y'all?
I don't know. I don't speculate, but it every time we get a turnover, it helps. Any kind of play in that type of game can make a huge difference, especially when we were making so few on both sides of the ball that you know, that can be a catalyst for anything. So, you know, you like for them to happen.
What was your schedule after Thursday in terms of what you did Friday, Saturday?
The coaches were on the road Friday, and I was in town, met with the team, you know, cleaned up the things after the game, and then I went on the road recruiting. And then the guys had Saturday off, and then we got back in and got after it on Sunday.
Were you looking for like a certain sign to let you know that they had been recovering well, or that they were in a good place mentally?
Well, Friday I knew they wouldn't be. I mean, you know, they looked exactly like I expected them to look and hoped they looked, and you know, but you know, we talked about it. And what are you going to? You know, it's behind you now. You better learn from it. You just. You can't sit there. I told them, wallow in your misery. Go ahead. Wallow in it today, wallow in it on Saturday, and then when you come back here on Friday, come in with a purpose, you know, to be the best that we can possibly be. And I was really pleased with the way they came to practice yesterday.
Larry mentioned after the game that Duke was doubling Switzer a lot. And they, week prior, that happened to Georgia Tech.
Yep.
Is that a byproduct of teams adjusting to life without Mac, or is it just
A
ability?
little bit of that, and what Switzer's been able to do. I mean, you know, he's got a lot of respect. So, you know, they got to figure out how they don't, you know, how they want to defend us, you know, and so that's where, you know, Prohl and Bug got to make more plays, and you know, our running backs got to make more plays. And so, you know, I mean, it's always. You know, we've always predicated this offense on taking advantage of what they give you. So, you know, we don't believe they can take everything away, and so we need to be effective enough to win with something else.
With that being said, when after the Georgia Tech game, Bug said that he was wondering if people just didn't think he was good because they keep dropping coverage. Is that something you kind of teach to take advantage of, or do you see a lot for him more than Max?
I mean, I've never questioned Bug's ability. I don't know if anybody really does out there. I think, you know, it puts him in a single coverage more often when you know, they're doubling up Switz. And so they you know, it's pick your poison kind of deal. I mean, which way do you want to go? And, you know, there for a couple of weeks, Switz caught like 20 balls in 2 games or something. And so people say, okay, so we better shut this down. And when you do that, then Bug had the opportunity to make some big plays and had some big games. So again, it's just making sure that whatever they give us, we take advantage of it.
You only have 2 more home games out here with this particular senior class. And
Yeah.
obviously focus on this one, but I'm going to be gone next week, so this is why I'm asking this ahead of time. What do you want this legacy of this senior class to be? This was your first complete full class that you had time to put together.
Well, you know, this, in my opinion, this senior class can still do some very special things. I mean, we haven't done them yet, but we got to do them. I mean, we have to finish this season out strong, and then if they do that, they have the opportunity to do something that's only been done here, you know, 2 times in 126 years. And if they do that, it'll be a heck of an accomplishment for them. You know, these guys, you got to remember when these guys came in. I mean, it was a pretty bleak picture around here. And they bought in and believed in what we were selling, and a lot of them have made that come true.
What was your pitch to them 4 or 5 years ago when you were recruiting a lot of these guys?
You know, I mean, you remember we had scholarship limitations, we had all kind of negative publicity. You know, 23 out of the 24 hours of the day, and it was you know, to just believe in really the coaching staff and what we were selling as far as that we can make things happen here at the University of North Carolina, and we can compete for championships. And I think these guys have got it to that point. They've bought in and they've got it to that point where the culture has changed.
Who was your earliest priority in that class? Was it Mitch when you first got here recruiting him? Or
Well, quarterback's always a priority for us because of what we do offensively. So yeah, he was a priority, you know, and we were on him very early, and we were sold on him. We just had to sell him on us.
What happened on that second interception, having given a look at the tape? Was it a miscommunication? Was it a misread by Mitch? He was under pressure?
A little bit of both, you know. Probably neither of the 2 receivers were where they needed to be, And Mitch panicked a little bit instead of just realizing, hey, it's first down, let's just throw it out of bounds. You know, he threw the ball without really even seeing what was going on, and didn't need to do that at that time. But I'm gonna, you know, it's just like I told him, yeah, that's a you know, a play that we don't want to happen, but, you know, that's not the difference in a football game. It just came to, in that play at that situation. We had many opportunities to win the football game, you know. And let me backtrack here a little bit, and let's give Duke a lot of credit. All right, I'm not gonna sit here and say, you know, that it was all us. I mean, I give David and his staff and that their players, give them credit for what they accomplished and what they did, because they outplayed us.
Anybody else?
Coaches worry about releasing too much information, giving the opponent a hint about what they're going to do or about who's hurt.
That's
Is there
why I
time-
tell y'all very few things.
Is there time in the day to monitor the opponent's press conferences or what they're saying? Do you or someone on your staff have
Oh,
the
yeah.
time to do that?
Yeah.
You look for hints?
Definitely. We have people that do all of that, yeah. And comb the internet for anything that's out there, for someone who takes a picture in practice. And if there's anything we can see in that picture,
And have there been times that it's worked?
definitely. Yeah.
All right. Yeah.